Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. It's Saturday afternoon. We have Kurso versus L.O.G.I.A. I'm Dentro. Joining me for this cast is going to be Josh.
Peacock, and yeah, Kurso versus L.O.G.I.A. Unfortunately, Water Dragons versus Akundalar was not exactly close, with Water Dragons winning pretty much instantly. But right now, we do have some nice teams playing against each other. The only issue with most of them is the builds. But Kurso versus L.O.G.I.A., we do have Kurso taking, I believe, first place in their group and L.O.G.I.A. taking second.
This is
But
correct.
I do need to refresh myself on that.
Yeah, so Kurso, they did win their group. That was Group D, and L.O.G.I.A. ended second in Group A. Kurso was sixth in Division 2 in the normal season, and L.O.G.I.A. was third in Division 3. So we have a 2 versus 3 division match here, butting heads and to show off who is the better division here in the end. Kurso has been around for a while. I don't know how many seasons L.O.G.I.A. has been playing, but veteran team here in Kurso for sure.
And I mean, Division 2 versus Division 3. Division 2 should be stronger on paper, but then again, Logia has managed to win against Complex on a tiebreak to get out of the group. So that's one of probably the favorites of the Legendary Cup being knocked out in groups. And the team that has knocked them out is now playing against another one of those favorites, I would assume. So that's
Yeah.
gonna be quite interesting. I don't know. Cast Hollow is our first map of the match. It is going to be a best of three with Dragonshire, Battlefield of Eternity, Braxis Hold Out, and Sky Temple being banned out by the teams.
Yeah. So we have all the like team fighting maps remain, with Kerstolo being like a weird half exception. Like you can go team fighting here, but you also need some sort of macro for Kerstolo. And it looks like we're gonna get into the draft here very shortly. But on the other channel, we either have Joe Pamajuju versus Mold Level Rising, or depending on if that match is done or not, we have Band of Brewers versus Dingsitas coming up on the main channel. Sidonian and Hat will be hosting there. But for the moment, we have Kurso versus Logia, and I don't know what the shorthand actually stands for here. It's some sort of abbreviation, but I don't know what it actually means. A bit unlucky there. But here we are.
Well, I will try to come up with a solution, and yeah, to answer your question, Jotoma Juju and Mold Level Rising are right now in map number 2, and it seems quite equal. We will try to keep you on on point with that. But as of now, let's move to the draft. Irel is already being banned out by Curso. That's the most played hero of Logia, so no surprises there.
Yeah, Cassia as well, still strong despite her recent nerf. And the Sertul ban, I did see something that you had to take note in the drafting. Logia plays Sertul, and he has this season. It's like the spiciest pick out of them. And they're like top hero picks. So seeing him removed is not very surprising. He is such a powerful playmaker, and it is really tough to play around him. Getting him off the table is pretty smart, I think.
Yeah, 6 picks above average win rate with 66%, which does means that he won 4 out of those 6 games. We do have Deckard being banned out against Curso, their most picked hero, and Limin is going to slot straight in the first pick.
Yeah, super solid pick. Doesn't tell you very much about the other side. Very quick Ana together with Greyman here from Lugia. Solid pickups. Greyman gives you great camp clear, boss control, boss clear. I shouldn't say control because he doesn't really control the point at all, but he does do good PvE damage. And Ana's super safe. Well, safe support is not necessarily true because she's diveable, but if you can stand behind terrain, especially on this map, it can be quite powerful and just strong sustain overall.
And oh god, that's the famed Lunara of Leon Amelie. The build has been called grave, the build has been called quite ingenious. And I'm not quite sure if the build is gonna get played because while I know that Leon Amelie does take pride in his green build Lunara, unfortunately, Cursed Hollow is a map about macro more than micro, in my opinion, and not quite sure how the absence of level 4 a siege damage talent will
Hmm.
work for the Lunara. ETC also picked up a very solid setup for Kurso as of now. We do see a potential mosh pit into a lot of follow-up from the Liming and the Lunara. And the Johanna is being banned out, one of the probably main counters to the mosh pit.
Yeah, still a really good tank. And with the Rhaegar removed there as well, there's not really like they have removed most of their favorite hero healers for Kurso now. So I expect an Undoing to come in on Kurso's side, but L.O.G.I.A right now picks up the Jaina for the nano boost. Pretty good there with Ana, so that's very bursty coming in from them. And then Mei as their main tank here. Uh, very good zone control, has very good curse point interrupt. And I wonder. I'm gonna comment after these last two picks. I have a thought, but go ahead.
Mhm. I mean, that is kind of on topic. We do have two IC picks for L.O.G.I.A, but that's a diva from the tail, and that's spicy, and that's a frostburn. I don't know, freeze flame. How
I've
do we call that May Deathwing combo?
I'm not sure, but it's very annoying to kill off, and they have amazing interrupts with that team. I think um, Deathwing in the air, it's just you cannot interact with him. You don't get to. So if he's flying and has the level 7 meteor thingy, I don't know what they're called, but if he has those, and then you have Mei on range, it's gonna be really tough to zone a team away here for Kurso. They need to kill people. And early game, they have two pieces of CC and one is reliable. We need to see Anduin's route
Mhm.
is quite slow. Um, the Diva is a spicy one though. We'll have to see how the Diva Deathwing kind of bruiser lineup here happens. I actually haven't seen this at all, so this is gonna be interesting for me.
I don't know. I think that Diva, I can understand the thought process behind it because the mech explosion is a very, very good um, point control uh, ability to just get people away from the curse, away from the tributes.
Hmm.
And on such a tight, close quarters map as Cursed Hollow gets at times, it is a very solid choice. Unfortunately, you need to play a very good diva, and while I did see some picks go well, I have seen some diva picks go just poorly. I don't expect that diva to fail, but I'm actually quite interested to see what will happen. May and Deathwing is a combo that has been brought up, I believe, in the Epic Cup, although I don't think it was played on the play of day. Deathwing usually just goes for the Q build, and not only are the corridors very hard to dodge the Qs in, but you also have the slow of the Jaina and the Mei to set up for it.
Yeah, and
And we are moving into the game.
absolutely. So here we have them. It's gonna be Curso in the blue on the left. Must be as on ATC Geben playing Liming. The Pookie is on Anduin, Natail is on the Diva, and Legion Amelie, as you mentioned, with the build specialty there on the Lunara.
And on the right, we have Lonely Observers Gaming in I don't know what the last one is. I'm
Attics.
sorry. Aether. Aether playing as Deathwing. Teku is on the Ana. Mithrolduin on the Greymane. Shia is picking up the Mei, and Telalol is playing as the Jaina.
Alright, so level 1 scrap is gonna be a 5-5 in mid. Double stun from the Deathwing. And some good poke into the Diva here. And big slide. Goes on for the Mado. It's quite tanky as she does. Mech's falling quite low already, but Andun should be able to heal that up just fine.
And you already see how much damage Deathwing is putting in with his Qs, with his abilities. He is able to set up for himself, but the whole point of this composition is just providing a lot more of extra setup. Shaya is gonna go to the bot lane with the Mei, the tank, in one of the offlanes, which is quite interesting to me. You don't usually see the tank being the one sent to the bottom.
No, usually not, but with their Faskar and Jaina here in mid, they rotate their team up to top lane, Greyman goes for a camp, so if they want the speedy clear mid, it makes sense to have your tank there in the bottom. Just autoing down this D.Va here, and D.Va damage isn't really gonna deal with much with Mei. Going to top lane, it's just an even matchup. Nora will not take any damage, and Deathwing will not take any damage. Not for lack of trying though on either side.
And both teams taking the siege camps as quickly as possible. Usually I see the teams trying to delay the siege camp on the lane opposite from the first objective, because you do want to get the enemy team's attention divided. But with a Deathwing as a global, you can just clear it out and then drop into the fight and then be useful. So I think that's probably a good call from Kurso, but I also am of conflicting opinions about this.
Yeah, like the timings here ends up being kind of tough sometimes. If you with the corresponding bottom, you're just automatically disadvantaged being on the red side here, and that's just a 50-50 coin flip, which you cannot. Like, you just have to deal with it here. He does go for a slide on Greyman in the mid, but there's no real damage follow-up. Libing is on the wrong side of the minion wave, and ETC takes a lot of damage for that attempt.
I'm actually surprised that Deathwing is going for the W build, it seems, with his level 1 and level 4 being the W. Usually you do expect to see at least one Q taunt, maybe both, at this point for the Deathwing Mei combo, at least in my interpretation of the composition, but Deathwing can still do a lot, and I mean a lot of damage with this build as well. Deathwing is pretty much a hero about doing big damage and having big health bars. So not just in the HP point of view, but in the literal health bar. Did you see how big it is?
Yeah, attempt here onto the Mei, but gets to slide away. They didn't really have a lot of luck to have Jaina in the front line, but D.Va is not very threatening. Nice poke from Ling though, and Deathwing now joining into the team. Smack into the middle of everything. Lunara in mid lane still having to clear out that lane.
And I mean, no action quite yet, but I think the situation is heating up quite significantly with the Deathwing dropping in on top of all those frozen people from the blue side. However, Greymane is now moving to the mid lane because it was pushed out by Leon Ameli, who moves to the bot lane and starts putting damage into Aether. And even if Kurso take the initiative on this one and push their opponents away, I think that L.O.G.I.A still have a lot, and I mean a lot, of ranged delays, which are used to full effect there. The W's of Aether. Pathways in as well. Mass D trying to find and engage there, but there is no follow-up, unfortunately. The mech explosion pretty much in the best spot, cutting off L.O.G.I.A's access to the point. Natail gonna fall the mech back down and lose almost all of its HP instantly. The Q, the roots from Aether, and so far it's just a draw. No one has died, no one has taken the tribute either. But the situation is certainly heating up a little bit, and I don't know, so far does not looking like the things will be done anytime soon. Level 17 for both sides. Telelol without any HP at all, forced to go back a little bit, get some HP from Teiku, and then rejoin the fight. Pocky is capturing the tribute, and no one will be able to interrupt that, so Kurso will take the win in the fight without taking anyone down.
Yeah, that's a really long drawn out brawl here. Both teams still neck and neck in XP. There's a kill here, but that doesn't really count in the top. That was the mech falling from D.Va earlier. Super even fight so far. We have a pause and with no real explanation, so we'll just find out what's happening here. We have level 7s coming in. It's gonna be the green Lunara build. Siphoning Toxin here from Legion of Melee, Wild Vigor and Natural Perspective coming on from them. Dazers on D.Va and Diverting Power, so Bigger and more effective W here from the mech, and then rush down as well. Any other talent choices you're seeing here?
I don't know. Prog Rock is just a classic talent option for the ETC. Not only does increase your E, but when you manage to stack it up, you also become somewhat of a second healer, even if you get it much later into the game and the numbers usually don't show that high number. In terms of healing, you actually do get quite a decent uh, help for the teammates in this situation, especially when most of your teammates have health bars as low as Lunars as the minx.
Mm-hmm.
We also
Yeah.
do get the damage reduction on level 7 from the Mei. I think the Mei's build is probably the one that's decided on as, as a classic Mei build, the
Mm-hmm.
one you usually deviate from if you are trying to act spicy. With a uh, with a trait reduction on level 4, you are allowed to be a lot more aggressive, tank a lot more, and in general, Mei is a hero about sitting in one point for a long time and being as annoying to your enemies in that one spot as possible. You do get the snowball route, you do get the passive as well just to sit on the point. You are unstoppable, you do get a lot of extra HP to fight this fight. And I don't know, Shia, I will be quite interested to see how the boss plays will go out. As of now, the pause will be unpaused, and we shall move back into the game. Kurso have just taken their first tribute and are now continuing to soak towards the level 10.
Yeah. Slight minion lead here for Kurso. They have about 1,000 more than their opponents, but I think that's because they have some lanes pushing against their opponents as well. So there's XP left to grab, is what I'm trying to say here. Siege Camp picked up by Kurso, and no one's really in position to do the same for L.O.G.I.A here.
That was actually quite interesting interaction. Greymane jumping on top of Mesby right as the EDC power slides back puts Greymane a little bit further than you would expect, and as of now it did not get anything done for Curso, but I feel like Greymane might get caught out later with that little bit of tech, which is quite a nice play from Mesby. We do see that the hard camp is up for the side of L.O.G.I.A. It's up for Curso as well, but both sides will prefer not to go for it because the next tribute is spawning right about now. It will be the second one
Oh,
for
Greymane gets caught on the bottom though. Can he get out? Anna's trying to save him. Big root. It's gonna be close. Oh, 22 hit points, not enough. Greymane falls here in the first actual blood of this game, and Kurso will very likely be able to pick up this curse point here as a result of that. Nice little party bush. And
Ooh, the Deathwing level 7
yeah.
interrupt can't come in. You can delay for a long freaking time with that ability. Unfortunately, Curso are on top of it and are just channeling as 3 there. However, May coming in and interrupting all of that. Deathwing can stop it for a long time. That's probably the best.
So much damage going into him here though.
And the mosh pit hits on top of the Anduin, allowing Telelol to just get bursted down without any heals to assist. We do see Word of Light Salvation helping the team a little bit. And Natale is gonna channel in this time uninterrupted because the Deathwing is dead, the Jaina is dead, you don't exactly want to go in 3v5, and this is not a position you can interrupt from range that reliably either.
No. So you can see the power in the delay that they have for L.O.G.I.A here, but when it comes to actually fighting, they have been kind of... They basically got bullied here. Deathwing just got annihilated. Without the plating on level 1, he just got so chunked here. And really good focus fire from Kurso as well.
And L.O.G.I.A start going for a boss. Only Greymane and Anna at the moment, but Talalol will join them up. And Aether moving in as well, but Aether is scouted out by Leon Ameli with that level 1, so that might have been a little bit of a giveaway. We do see Leo moving to the boss instantly. The team is also on their way. Mesby
Nice sleep
already
though.
there, but the boss is captured. Leon jumping around, trying to stay alive, but unfortunately jumps into the wall, and that's where the journey of the Lunara will stop. ETC gonna get traded by the Anduin, but that will not be enough to save the tank. Pocky blown up as well. The mech explosion will get Telalol, but will not be enough to kill anyone. And L.O.G.I.A gets the fight, gets the boss, and are in a very nice spot at the moment.
Yeah, great fight here from them. The sleep onto the Lara makes her position just so awkward. It's like the tiniest jump across a Deathwing because she gets stuck on terrain. Yeah, the chokes as you were mentioning there, coming out in favor here for L.O.G.I.A. Big Deathwing value together with the Mei and Jaina. And double reset kill from Greymane there on Go for the Throat. Really good fight from them.
Indeed. Go for the Throat, not the abilities that we generally see, but against such a low HP setup of Kurso, I think it is quite valuable. Also, chunking down the tanks is not quite as worth because one of them is a mech and the other one of them can heal himself very much, I guess.
Yeah, I like Go for the Throat in this comp. The problem is like using it too early basically. If you do that into Holy World Salvation, you're going to be very sad. But another curse now, very important here for L.O.G.I.A. Mech is quite low. The other side looks healthy and just fine here. First interrupt here by the Mei, shooting on the ETC. Uses W as well.
And I mean, just the Mei herself can interrupt for a very long time, but when you add up all of the heroes picked by L.O.G.I.A, you can definitely delay for minutes on end. However, they do need to delay, they do need to take it as well, because that will be a curse for Kurso, funnily enough, and will be quite devastating to get first cursed, because usually the conversion rate is quite high. However, the Mosh 2 will be there, the Jaina is being cut out. The Mei presses the ice block as soon as possible. Jaina is dead, but the ETC and the mech and the Diva are dead as well. Thrall popping off. Absolutely, Leon Amelie not looking too healthy, looking actually quite dead. Gavin not having any HP at all, but is a little bit too far from Shia and Thralduin to actually catch the Mei out. And getting the orb resets, however, did not quite get the connection with the Shia to get the kill for themselves. And L.O.G.I.A bring it up to a draw, and the next tribute will be a cursed one for either of the sides.
Yeah, that's a really big fight once again here from L.O.G.I.A. Mosh Pit looked like it was going to be super impactful here, but I guess they didn't have the angles for the Liming in particular to get the big orb in. So a bit unfortunate for them, and then they just pop off and they counter engage here with Greymane once again and the Jaina. They didn't actually lose anyone, which is really impressive considering how awkward that looked for a while there, but again, like, it's a really tiny choke they're fighting in, so Deathwing gets a lot of value, Mei gets a lot of value, Jaina gets a lot of value, so I think they're using their comp quite well so far.
I mean, you have to consider the Mosh Pit on 2 is very nice, but in the backline of Kurso blocking all of the skill shots, literally all of them, is a big, bad, unstoppable dragon in the form of Deathwing, so the amount of damage put was not even enough to kill Hele, and unfortunately, that did allow Greymane to emerge from this absolute scrap of a fight victorious. This tribute will spawn on the side of Kurso, and they are doing quite a nice job of space created for Masby as he starts the channel. I don't think there will be enough, and yes, Aether is slightly a bit too slow, but Cataclysm in not exactly the position you want to get in yourself. Aether will get blown up, the ice wall will catch only the Diva, which sadly is not quite enough. Teku followed through on by Leon Amelie. Gavin fighting a bunch of damage as well, and that's the first curse for Kurso. Finally an opportunity for them to get something for themselves. Jumping in on Teku. Natale playing very aggressively, but he can afford it with a mech. However,
oh, the juke on the Mosh Pit!
Anyone, and the Diva is blown up. However, the Greymane is taken for it, and I believe that's very much worth for Kurso, because the defense do not want to lose any extra people. The trade 1-for-1 is generally better for the side that has the curse, because you get those waves pushing.
Yeah, I would say so. You still want to pick up all the way XP yourself, obviously, and Lunara kills off Mei here in top lane. T-Tours, but yeah, Leona Melee goes for the Mei, trying to get the XP, and all the forts are likely to fall here. Bottom is gonna go quite low, and Living makes sure it's gonna fall here. Deathwing does his best, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. No, fort down, so big map pressure now. Although they did lose like their own fort, both in top and bottom lane, so map is actually quite even. The curse didn't do as much because of the lead that L.O.G.I.A had accumulated so far.
I mean, that's actually a good point. While Kurso had done quite a little bit during the curse, they had spent most of the time of the curse just chasing people around, getting kills, which, while they still get 3 forts, and that's quite nice, unfortunately, L.O.G.I.A were able to take the fort in the top lane and in the bot lane down, so it doesn't look as impressive,
It's
even
gonna
if
be
it
a fight over this
actually took
boss.
quite a while. And the boss, the second boss, is going to be there, and L.O.G.I.A have to fight for it, and they have to do it quickly because the boss is already moving on the keep down bot. Aether losing a bunch of HP, however, the engage will be there on the tail. The mech is blown up, the EDC is dead as well. Pocky being the next target, Deathwing dead, Lunara dead as well. Jaina pressing the ice block, while Geben gets
Oh!
rooted, but still manages to find an engage on the Jaina, and L.O.G.I.A are trying to push. L.O.G.I.A trying to base race. They are having 2 more people than the side of Kurso, and I don't think that Amdun can defend that well against 3.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, gets the trade. I didn't expect that, but nice pickup there from Gavin on Li Ming. I think Grayman has done an amazing job so far in this game. Like, the amount of dives he's been able to pull off here without dying is absurd. So kudos for that. Deathwing is tanking insane amounts of damage, same for the Mei, and it has left Greymane off to do whatever he wants. Yeah, bottom boss takes the wall, but L.O.G.I.A here seems to be getting this keep. Yes, they will. Boss will kill it off here. So map still
And
looks
they
pretty
are
good for them.
also moving to the mid lane to convert the fort for themselves as well, pretty much negating the curse from Kurso while still being 2 tributes to 0, which does mean that the Ana will take it, and there is no interrupts in the side, even if you zoom out on the map. Now, Kurso are the one being cursed. We do have Pocky, Mesby in the tail, and Gaben taking the
Oh,
hard camp, and Mesby finds the power slide on top of the Greymane. We do have a mosh pit onto the main caught out as well. Unfortunately, not enough damage to do to Thralduin, with Steiko killing him in the backline over the wall. Gavin jumping in on that exact backline. Telelol, however, finding the route and swiftly executing this backline assassin. Nathaniel gonna get rid of his mech, and the walls are starting to fall down. The keeps are starting to fall down, and it looks to me like they are going for the core as well. 50% on it already, and I don't think that Kurso have enough damage to kill them all.
it's
Like,
gonna be
I
GG here. L.O.G.I.A takes game 1 on Cursed Hollow.
And I mean, nice. Like, there's not too much to say about it because usually you do expect when the team is getting cursed first, you do expect them to lose a lot. But, and we did see L.O.G.I.A lose a lot. We did see L.O.G.I.A losing all 3 of their forts. But then we look at the map and the situation has just evened out almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Curso were not as ahead as they would have been probably in lower divisions after the first curse, after taking all 3 forts, just because L.O.G.I.A found their macro, L.O.G.I.A found their plays, and they also won the fights, which is a big boon.
Yeah, they were consistently winning team fights after level 10. I don't think Curso ever came out on top. So even if Curso was did well to stun them off on a lot of the curse points, they were actually never able to, you know, kill them. And that is usually how you win this game in the end. I want to talk about the boss, like the boss play on the top side, the last boss. If you compare boss control, you have Mei with Ice Wall and you have Deathwing with Fear, and on the other
Mhm.
side it's like ETCW. those don't
I
really
mean,
compare, do they? So
I guess I guess you can add the diva potentially with mech
yes,
boost,
you
but
should
if
absolutely.
you are trying to knock people away from the point, that's probably it. You can try to find a fight with the Enduin Salvation with etc mosh pit on the point as well, but you won't exactly gonna you are not exactly gonna be able to do that when you're attacking the boss. And
No. Also,
while that thing can drop on the boss, May can go in power slide people out of the boss and find the ice wall. Did we could have actually also seen the Ring of Frost, but Water Elemental was chosen here, and it probably was the right choice. You do already have enough AoE lockdown, and L.O.G.I.A just can do it not only in defense but on attack as well, which did not come up, I believe, in the game, but which
mhm,
was quite important in my opinion.
yeah, yeah. So solid game here from Logia. Kurso, no slouches either. We'll see whether they want the first pick or map pick coming on up. And yeah, and as Tex, aka Rhianor, says here, Moshpit and Mech are both good, but the two tanks you're fighting into kind of don't care. And I think it hurt them in the end here. Um, Also, Logia was very good at turning fights with the Deathwing, like holding cooldowns on their assassins until the other side basically goes for something. Ana nicely positioned in most of these fights to just yeah, save whoever needed to be saving, right? There was a mosh pit on a Greymane who face checked into ETC, but Ana was just behind him, and Limin couldn't deal enough damage alone on that mosh pit because Ana was there with the rapid reload and other things. So I think that
And I
they
mean,
lacked a bit of focus fire, perhaps.
remember how I said in draft that Joanna is probably one of the best heroes to pick up against the mosh pit? You know what's better? A hero that's unstoppable permanently. And yeah, the mosh pits were quite good. The mosh pits caught out two people on average, and that was very solid. But unfortunately, you do get the Deathwing, who just does not care, walks into your backline and disrupts the backline from doing any damage at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have a new map decided. Kurso wants first pick, so we have Infernal Shrines chosen now by Logia. Another teamfight map, and we're gonna see how this goes. Do you
I mean, it's
expect more
definitely,
Deathwing? Do you expect more May? Do you expect more Diva? Like, they still want zone control. Do you run it back?
it's definitely gonna be more interesting. Leon Ameli putting up a very good point to the conversation in the lobby chat with can't boss throw on this map, which could come up very importantly, and I don't think that Logia will go for such a boss centric, such a hold the point centric setup on Infernal Shrines compared to the other maps. I think also you do have to remember that Curso are up against the wall. If they lose this game, they are out of the tournament. I think they will either try to put up something even more weird, even more interesting, or they will just try and go for their comfort setups. And I think that's going to be the second option in this case.
Yeah, I think so. If you go for first pick, you really want like something. I think you want like a solid hero to build around. They did go for the Li Ming previously, which was like it was fine, but I don't think it really popped off in the same way the Greymane popped off last game. And also, I don't think Li Ming is a pick for this map. So I expect something like strong and good from them here on the first pick. If they can get some comfort heroes, that would be good, obviously. Deckard was removed last time. I think he can be pretty good on this map. The biggest downside is obviously cleanse, but that's not map dependent. Um, but he's really good at fighting on the shrines, I would say. Ural gets removed once again, and Lugia here coming in with their first ban.
And there is one more point about the Liming first pick that I didn't quite like. Usually, the first pick, because you only get 3 bans and you only get 2 bans before your enemies start picking first pick, usually is acting as a third ban as well. You're trying to pick the most contested hero, not exactly the heroes that you are going to be good at, because you know that you will be able to pick it up anyway with your second and third picks. And I don't think I've seen a lot of leaning on the side of Logia, so I would have probably picked something a little bit more contested. Ana
Fair enough.
is a much better option in this case, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point. If your opponent are unlikely to pick up what you want, then you should probably go for something they will contest, right? Identifying what's contested between the teams is really important. We see the Johanna here coming in from Logia. A lot of tanks still available. They go for her here
Mhm.
together with the Rhaegar, so they have their tank support duo here, very solid. Johanna recently nerfed Iron Skin. The trait has 5 second longer cooldown. It's very noticeable, I think. We'll see how they adapt here in this second game.
Joanna has been so dominant in the meta for so long that even after the nerf, she's still one of the prime candidates to pick in the tank role. And speaking about tanks that get unstoppable two times per minute, we do have the Mei picked up on the left, alongside the Rainer from Leona Melee. Ana, you can still pick the Li Ming alongside the Ana, and it would have been still the same, but despite picking Liming in the first game, it did not quite work out because Ana was the contested pick and not the Ming. And now
Mhm.
you are even able to do it later. I think the ban here will be the Greymane because Logia have shown that they like the dog business with the Woofer
Yeah,
on the Rhaegar with the Greymane as well. And yes, indeed, that's going to be a respect ban because that was a very, very oppressive Greymane, and I think that taking it out is a very, very solid boost for Kurso in
yeah,
game
I
number
agree. Certainly, Greymane felt quite strong last game. They're gonna go for a Tassadar here and Leoric. So Archon with Bloodlust is pretty spicy. And Infinite Archon is kind of why you draft Tassadar, especially
two.
in the higher ranks. It's very, very, very good. And you usually get to 20 on this map unless you fall severely behind. Um,
Hmm.
so I think it's a strong late game pick. He has great Shrine Clear. You will need some auto attack damage, I would say. Otherwise, Tassadar will never kill off Mei. We're going to see Diva again and Asmodan. So we saw Asmodan in the scouting. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think Esmodan of Curso is actually a very, very solid pick. I do believe they have quite a high win rate. Yep, they have picked the Esmodan 6 times, and his win rate was 83%, so he won 5 out of those 6 games. However, that was the stats that we saw on Diva as well, and the Diva was picked in game number 1 and she lost. Now they are trying to pick up both of those together, so I will be quite interested in to see how this works out. And of course, Esmodan has a lot of HP. Mei has an amount of HP and gets a very big shield once in a while. Diva has a bunch of HP on the mech. So it's only fair if you pick up the Tychus to do percentage damage, right?
Yeah, and that's Bloodlust Odin. They have
Oh.
some. They have absurd sieging ults if they can win the shrine, and I think they have decent shrine control. Uh, all of their heroes have good or better shrine clear. Tychus being the worst. Um, like Tychus is medium, but like whatever, all of the rest are good. So on the side of Kurso, on the other hand, you have it's Diva has a good shrine control, but she's bad at killing the minions themselves. Asmodan kills them quite well. Jimmy does a pretty good job. But Anna and Mei compared to Rhaegar and Johanna, that's not a contest. I kind of like Logia's draft. I'm curious to see how Kurso will do here with the Diva Asmodan lineup here. Some off meta
I don't
picks.
know. Cursor draft is very, very cursor. If that is even a word that you can use in this situation. Esmodan is very solid at clearing minions, even if you are losing on the point. And I think versus a composition of Logia that's literally run over people, just run in, kill everyone. You do have the walls to keep people in. You do have the ultimates to keep you going after them. And you do have a lot, and I mean a lot of damage to stuff those targets out. And on Curso, I think their playstyle should be go on top of the point, try to get some early progress, and then retreat, and then just use the Asmodan to grab those last points of the objective.
Hmm.
Speaking of Kurso, we do have Natail on Diva, Pocky playing the Ana, Mess B on the Mei, Gabon on Asmodan, and Leon Ameli not being able to show us his Lunara builds on the good side in game number 1, but is trying to show us his great Rainer builds in game number 2.
And in the red on the right, it's L.O.G.I.A is on the Johanna, Aether is on Leoric, Thralduin is on Tychus, Delalol on the Tassadar, and Teki on Rhaegar.
And well, that's going to be quite an interesting one. Level 1 fights usually at this level used to just acquire some stacks, which Asmodan will take full advantage of. But you can also get a cheeky pick if your opponent does manage to get a wrong position or screw it up in some way. Fortunately, at this level, teams are not likely to screw it up, so just a cheeky little bit of stacking. We do have 10 extra damage on Tester's level 1, which is of course the Q stacking talent, and we do have 25 stacks on Gavin with... don't remember how it's called in English.
The interrupt on the on the main charge here from Tychus Grenade, and just the amount of wave clear they have is just so high for L.O.G.I.A right now. Tassadar in bottom, Rhaegar, Tychus just sideswipe this camp on the way because they can, and they're still pushing all the lanes against their opponents here. Kurso is certainly struggling in the wave clear compartment, but they haven't lost much XP yet, although these camps are going to become a problem here very soon. Also, I'm so disappointed. Go ahead.
I would also like to point out that Leon Ameli's builds strike again with the stacks on level 1 instead of Ace in the Hole or Exterminate.
Camp invade here with Leoric joining as well. Nice move here, 5-man engage. From L.O.G.I.A, Mei is now in trouble here on the point, trying to get some kills. Looking for Jimmy.
Ooh, the wall off on the Mei will be quite cheeky, but the Mei will just wait it out because no one is seemingly interested to kill in the tank. I still think that the wall could have been interesting with the follow-up, but I do understand why they decided not to follow up on the Mei.
Look at this zoning on bottom now. Tassadar gets to do a bunch of damage in the bottom wave. They lost the tower, they lost the wall here for this. So L.O.G.I.A looking really strong in this early game so far.
Yeah, L.O.G.I.A definitely stronger in the macro game, both in game number 1 and in game number 2. Thralduin trying to find the gank, but I think he's seen on the minion waves there, which... question mark, my dude. Just walking out and walking back in, trying to get the mech out from the tail, but unfortunately no cigar so far. Shia checking out the enemy's bruiser camp, and Kurso moving right on top of it. Shia getting scouted out. We do see Aether trying to move away as well. Natail finally gonna get rid of his mech. Masby going in on force. This is a 5v4 with the Tester continuing to farm in the bot lane, continuing to get that macro pressure. The first objective going to spawn in the top lane. It's going to be a Mortar Punisher. And let's see how this will go. Masby trying to go in, receiving a bunch of damage from the passive of Tychus, who did pick into the rhythm. Oh, sorry, who did pick the bigger they are. I'm not that great at reading the talent icons, sorry.
It's all good, it's all good. Level 7 here for L.O.G.I.A on the shrine. They have their 4-man now into the 4-man on this side. Tychus getting a lot of value here. Has dodged the W from Mei to knock the stun here. Leoric very low on resources, and now Tassadar joins in as well. Trying to use this level 7 advantage, but so far Kurso is on the point.
And well, that's the thing that Kurso wants, but the thing that L.O.G.I.A wants is Kurso on the point as well, because that allows them to just go in and run them down. Asmodan is already dead. Natail comes in with a mech explosion, but everyone moves out of the range, and the interrupts come out on Natail from his first mech cooldown. However, it will not stop Natail from just getting out on a sliver of HP and calling the mech back again. And now L.O.G.I.A are in control, and now Kurso don't have the Asmodan to try and snipe those extra heads, so I think that's a very solid first objective for the right side.
Yeah, absolutely. Rhaegar's a bit low on resources here. Could maybe have been even waited to get him back, but they're gonna get double globe and clear at top here. With Leoric in mid and Tassadar bottom, they just want all the XP here. They want to keep this lead going. They want to have a grip on this game. And it's on Kurso now to kind of turn this around. They have D.Va trying to double soak, but into 2 people now in bottom lane even. It's going to be a bit tough here for the Korean pro pilot.
Ooh, so we do have a push in the top lane. We do have 2 people from L.O.G.I.A going down bot to try and get the camps there and to amass a little bit more of the push. The wall is already down. It is going into the well, into the keep, and structure damage is the damage that you can't heal afterwards, which is why it is much more important. That's literally how you win the game. The kills may be important, the kills may allow you to kill the core easier, but to win the game, you still need to kill the core, and L.O.G.I.A are going along the path to doing it much better than the Kurso do.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the amount of wave clear and macro they have for L.O.G.I.A is kind of telling now. Kurso is trying their best to keep up, but D.Va is struggling into the heavy wave clear from Leoric, and the Tassadar are now just more push in the bottom. There's not been any objective in the bottom lane, but there's been 2 camps, there's been Tassadar, and they just kind of keep working at it. And Well is going to be at risk as well there in the bottom, so let's sustain. Take another camp, and it's just, yeah.
And that's a whole level advantage coming into level 10. Archon, Entomb, Blast Shield, Odin, and the Bloodlust as expected. Will be quite interesting to see what they will do. I don't think it will be much in terms of the actual fighting, but the fort goes down very quickly, and Kurso will not choose to fight into level 10, right? Yep, indeed.
Oh, Blessed Shield, oh, Archon, Bloodlust.
Bloodlust as well. The wall is so good. Rainer's being blocked out entirely. Gavin losing a lot of HP. Pwoki being grenaded back, but the only death so far is Leon Ameli. And unfortunately, his build is a little bit more designed to fight, and I don't think that's a thing that Kurso were able to get much of.
No, playing this build when you're this far behind on wave clear, it seems like a big risk, and in my opinion, it seems to not work out so far. They haven't been able to fight on the shrines yet. The second one is spawning up, and they did spend some heroics here, but even so, getting the stacking value is going to be a lot tougher than normal.
And that's Eye of Horus on the Ana. Very interesting, very spicy pick, but I guess I can get it. Your mage damage is probably the Asmodan, and he's not doing that much damage in the amount of times that your Nano Boost provides to justify it. What are your opinions on the Eye of Horus?
Yeah, their mage target, like you say, is pretty bad. You get 1 Asmodan Q, I think. I don't know if the cooldown reduction actually helps them get two of the big orbs out in the duration. So Eye of Horus is just way safer. Like, you can play so far back if you want to. Maybe a bit of a collapse here onto the onto the Johanna here by Jimmy, but like, how did they kill off Johanna here? They have the sleep dart, they have 2 assassins, but even then it's gonna be a bit tough. Mei takes a lot of damage in the mid lane, gets walled off and gets healed up though. Blessed Shield again, another trade. And trade for Blessed Shield, that's probably an okay trade, but while they're doing this, they're just cleaning up the shrine. They have half of them already, and it's gonna go very quickly here.
Frozen one. It's going to turn off buildings, it's going to turn off that keep, and that's definitely a very, very solid pickup for L.O.G.I.A if they are able to secure it. To have the Entomb.
Oh, the Ice Wall to counter the Bloodlust though.
And how does the Bloodlust work? Does it proc when the animation starts, or...?
Not sure, but that was a really good force. Ice Wall is what I'm gonna say here. Trying to get the value from the Eye of Horus, and it's actually working. They get a kill here, Johanna's down, and the Odin bonking away in the front line, but the engage countered.
Finally getting to do the damage as Aether losing a lot of HP there. The mech is blown up as well, and L.O.G.I.A are finally forced back from the point. However, they do get enough on the objective to get that Frozen Punisher to push with it potentially, and to find some peaks when the John Cena eventually suplexes.
Yeah, sorry, the counter engage with the Ice Wall on the Bloodlust.
On top of Gavin, just locking him away from everyone there. However, it will not work, but the John Cena jumping on Masby and Shaldorin doing a lot of damage. The wall from the tester will secure the kill. And L.O.G.I.A still running their opponents down as they want to. And you know, you said that the big thing about Tester is the Archon, is the Infinite Archon on level 20 with the Bloodlust. It is very spicy, don't get me wrong, but I think the main reason why you always choose to pick the Tester is that wall, because those were just on point this game. So fast.
Yeah, it's really, really strong. Just having that as a base ability, and look at like the mobility in the backline is so bad for Kurso. All of them just get stuck. Asmodan was killed in top as the first blood. We saw Entomb catching him here once again. Ice Wall cutting the team quite nicely. D.Va quite far forward here, and actually with this aggressive play is going to be able to pick up this camp. I don't know if they will contest it. They will. L.O.G.I.A is coming in as well. Ice Wall there onto the Tiger's blood in the backline. Archon with the Bloodlust. Camp is taken. L.O.G.I.A still spooking around, looking for an Entomb perhaps. It's gonna be there onto the Jimmy. Blessed Shield goes down as well. May, huge explosion coming out from the D.Va. Johanna falls. It's gonna be L.O.G.I.A down as well. So 2-0 here. Kurso fighting back.
This is such a messy fight, but in the messiness, we did see Kurso come out ahead, because I think the main reason there is Deku did not actually catch Threlduin with Bloodlust, because Odin was time stopped by the Maze Ice Wall. And I think that while it's not that big of an increase of damage, every little bit helps, and unfortunately they were not able to get enough out in time, and the tank part of the team was just locked out with the mech in other part of the fight.
Yeah, but also there's fighting in such small chokes here. There was I think a 2 or 3 man May stun on the W, and then there's also the D.Va mech. It's like, it's very potent point control team fighting if you can actually get there on time, and they did have D.Va there just barely joining to get in. I was a bit surprised that that L.O.G.I.A actually wanted that fight. They have L.O.G.I.A coming in, so like it's close. I could have just seen giving that up, but I guess they didn't want to give them the opportunity. It's gonna be a big rotation to top here. Ice Wall hits a lot.
Ice Wall blocking off Shia, as well as time stopping everyone in if we do have the cleanses, however, and Heiku will save his team for the time being. With how many times the fights were in very tight choke points, I think that the Eye of Horus is not that much of an int anymore. The bullets pierce through people, and you are actually able to deal quite a lot of damage spread between enemies and heal your team at the same time, which it still does sound like kind of an int, but I can see it being comparable to the Nano Boost in this case.
Yeah, it's been getting good value from after level 10 here when they actually have proper team fighting. We'll see if they can do so once again. It's going to be another just straight up fight there. Level 16 for both teams. You have the talents coming in here. Nothing special as far as I can tell. Yeah, L.O.G.I.A joins after pushing out the lanes for his team. And big poke war is going on.
That's a big improvement, and so far it is not. Mesby and Natail are on the point, but the backline is actually in the lane. We do see the snowball stunning the testers there. The Entomb comes out on the maze. Bloodlust is there, but it does not catch on the tester. Natail losing a lot of HP, losing the mech there. Could probably be blown up. The ball from the tester comes out, and Natail still survives. The heals from the Ana will not be enough. The Eye of Horus is interrupted, and the Ana is killed as well. Leona Melee is being forced down. Aether using the E to get closer, and they are just forsaking the objective just to take the fight. Mesby very low, Leona Melee very low, and both of those targets will die.
Yeah, huge fight there for L.O.G.I.A. Able to pick up this building, but yeah, this time the ice wall didn't connect, and I think that's the big difference here. They were able to counter against the Bloodlust pretty well in previous fights.
They are just sending 4 people mid to engage on top of the Esmod and kill him, get the ace, and just take down another structure on the map. And that's probably the biggest difference. L.O.G.I.A are not only winning the fights, they are converting them into structural advantage as well. And that is just beautiful to see. Some very nice play from the team in red.
Yeah, really nice macro choices coming out for them here. Macro game has been looking strong all game, and they're now gonna save this camp even to time it with Leoric capping the Punisher in top. John Cena is gonna be doing a lot of work, but so are these Kasra, and now Johanna kind of has to pick this up. Is she gonna be too late? Oh, she is. Unlucky. She might actually die for
oh
this.
no. Oh my god. Oh no, the stun connects as well, and Shia not having the ice skin the iron skin anymore. Gonna just get forced down, and that is one of the very low amounts of somewhat sloppy play from L.O.G.I.A. I
Yeah.
do get the idea behind the play, but Kurso knows that they lost the objective, so of course they are gonna go and take those camps, and you just took it a little bit too slow.
Yeah, the greed was a bit too high here, I think. Surely they must have seen vision in mid lane because of their camps pushing. I don't know how they actually lost that. But yeah, just overstaying here is what kills Johanna. And now they actually have a free Claire. What could have been an amazing push for L.O.G.I.A is now... It actually means that for the next Shrine fight, Kurso is going to have level 20.
I mean, you say it was a free clear, but I I think that they could have taken a lot more, don't get me wrong, but they still managed to take a tower in the top lane, and they managed to take down the entire wall in the bot lane just based off of that extra camp pushing and Tester helping out. And now they are trying to set up for the Bruiser camp to try and catch Kurso out when they go in, but Mesby, being smart, scouts it out, finds Aether, and forces L.O.G.I.A to move a little bit further back. I think Mesby saw Telelol there, and yes, Kurso will just leave.
Yeah, they don't want to fight into these 20s. We have Twilight Archon, it's going to be Birdie alive, bigger Blessed Shield, a big red button, and longer Bloodlust. So these are some pretty powerful heroics. And Kurso now kind of just stuck in their base while they wait for the 20s to come in. Diva's soaking at bottom. And Kurso pushing the advantage. Getting pushed here.
Hear a month Bloodlust? Ooh, that was not a buried alive you want to see from your Leoric. That ultimate is definitely able to just win you the game based off of one good ultimate, but unfortunately, sometimes you have to wait for it. 5 ultimate upgrades, that's not usually something that we see, but I'm very interested to watch how it plays out. And yeah, L.O.G.I.A very much ahead on the map. Unfortunately, they aren't exactly able to find what they want to do anymore. There isn't much to take on the map. You are back to just pushing lanes. And while that's nice and all, that allows Kurso an opportunity to catch up. That allows Kurso an opportunity to just wait a little bit. We do have the Eye of Horus upgrade, which is very interesting to me.
So a lot of player on vision here from L.O.G.I.A. They don't show their support, they don't show their tank, they show Leoric a lot, but you can always show Leoric in lane, he's basically never gonna die. So they are forcing Kurso to respect the map here. Lots of back and forth with Leoric now going up top lane once again. And Entomb is just back, like them using that on the push top isn't gonna do very much, isn't a big loss. Leoric might be in trouble here actually. Diva now with the knockback. It's gonna have some slows, a lot of damage. And Leoric is at risk. Another slow, another orb, and there it goes. Underestimating the chase potential here, I would say. And L.O.G.I.A loses another member kind of unnecessarily here.
And that's a big question. Is Leoric not able to die yet, or any time, or is Leoric just dead already? He will be back quick. He will be back quicker than any other hero in the game, perhaps not counting the Murky. But we are gonna see a 4v4 for the time being, as Esmodan still going in. He does have 400 stacks on the baseline, so that will be some very hard hitting Qs. However, the Bloodlust is there, and I don't think L.O.G.I.A are getting too much off of it. We do have a bunch of damage put into Mesby, a bunch of damage put into Shia from the other side, and that's it. The Bird Alive misses as well, and L.O.G.I.A, while missing all of their chances, most of their chances at least, they are still getting the point to them. They are still getting a lot of macro pressure from the camps in the mid lane, in the bot lane, and Kurso are trying to find a re-engage. We do see a bunch of damage put into Shia, put into Tackle. Natail losing a bunch of HP there as well, and this is going to be a very messy Kurso on 33 already. The team's equaling out in that instead, the big red button's definitely doing a lot of clear Mesby pressing the pressing the ice block to stay alive there. The Punisher is taken by Kurso, and Aether is actually going to die. Shia gonna be Eye of Horus to death, and Teku gonna be saved from Eye of Horus by the gate being alive there. Very nice
Yeah,
fight from Kurso, denying all the opportunities from L.O.G.I.A there.
yeah. I was surprised how well, like how much damage they could deal there with the in a 4v5 fight. They pushed them off the shrine almost. Yeah, just 4v5 straight up. Tychus are now pulling it across. Still though, Kurso actually coming out on top here on this fight. The Leoric only being a ghost, not exactly the most effective he can be.
That can be a bird alive, but that is not as of now, as they decide to focus on the Mei instead. She is still gonna be able to walk out. Very not nice from L.O.G.I.A, and I think they have just clowned it a little bit.
I don't know whether they can end here. They have Bloodlust to defend, they have Odin back. And there
I mean,
we go.
they sure as hell are gonna try too, and the shields are already down. That's 85%, and
Oh, that nuke though is gonna be enough. They're still trying to deal with it. Jimmy's gonna fall. Mei is under pressure, so is Asmodan. Oh, they went for it and it
34,
didn't pay off.
32.
That's probably, that has to be game. They're gonna go through bottom and then it's gonna be it. It has to be.
I mean, let's be honest, I think that's probably the best chance Kurso had, so I definitely don't blame them for trying to finish in this way. Unfortunately, L.O.G.I.A were able to put their poop together and actually get a nice fight after, I think, somewhat ending the last roughly 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, they lost a lot of players unnecessarily, but they are still able to pull it off here. Good defense by them, and they are now claiming the win here. L.O.G.I.A from Division 3 goes ahead over Kurso from Division 2 here. Onto the semifinals. GG, and good luck.
And yep, L.O.G.I.A continuing to just be an underdog, continuing to rise up in the ranks. They have defeated Complex in the groups, they have defeated Kurso here, and their next opponent is going to be the winner of Band of Brewers versus Dimsitas. Band of Brewers considered by many as a very, very good candidate for winning the entire thing. So I think if Kurso get past the semifinals, they are in a very good shape for the final itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I like what they played here. It shows that they have good map understanding, what you need for each map, which I think can be quite important. If a team is even on just like player buttoning skill and mechanics, then like better map knowledge can give you the edge that you need. Kurso are no slouches, but in the end they couldn't quite match up to the huge wave clear and macro pressure that L.O.G.I.A put them down on this map. If the map had been more even, I think Kurso could have had a better shot. For example, let's just pretend that middle fort was dead for the side of L.O.G.I.A, then Kurso probably ends here. But as it stands, that wasn't the case, so they need more. And you also said like it's probably the best chance to end. It is possible for them to just accept, oh, we get to keep and then we have to leave. But with like 30% left on the core, that's really tough to say now in hindsight, right? That's the one thing you might beat yourself up over. Oh, could we have done it better? Was it the right call to go for it, etc., etc. But I mean, yeah, here we are.
To be fair, I think that Kurso were dead after they have lost the team fight. Like, the map situation is just as so that L.O.G.I.A have a free access to their core and will definitely win, get the win in the map after they get the fight, a decisive win in it. So I think that Kurso trying to go in, trying to force it, trying to take a fight on the enemy's core, and if L.O.G.I.A are not able to take this fight and not able to win it, and not able to win it decisively, they win the game. Kurso wins the game, but yeah, I don't know. There's definitely a lot of what ifs, a lot of thinking involved, and that can be very demoralizing. But I do believe that Kurso took their best shot at trying to finish out this game.
Yeah, for sure. Like you need to have some killer instinct, right? They went for the Leoric top that actually gave them this whole thing. Kind of started with Leoric getting rotated on the top lane, and then he dies. He rejoins the fight, but a bit late. they do win that 5-on-5 on level 20 eventually on the middle shrine. Barely, I should say. L.O.G.I.A almost caught up to a 27 per point, like 27 minions or something like that. And it was like 2 minions difference in the end, I think. So super, super close, and Kurso pushing as far as they could. They could not quite pull it all the way. And yeah, it's going to be L.O.G.I.A going forward and to the semifinals. 2-0 over Kurso. GG's to both teams involved, and good luck in the future.
Speaking of 2-0s, we did have Mold Level Rising take a 2-0 victory over Juju to join Water Dragons in the semi-final. On the first channel right now, we do have Band of Brews playing their second game versus Dinxitas, and that looks like Dinxitas are actually able to make a game number 3 off of it. So I believe we're gonna be raiding them shortly. And yeah, please say hello to them from us. Please just cheer for the team's playing. It is definitely gonna be spicy, and unfortunately, Curso are a little bit out of that feast of that I don't know, celebration of legendary divisions. But at least I can't say that that was all because of the Leon Amelis build, so I'm gonna take what I can.
Well, I'm gonna leave on that comment, but I want to say one more thing. So we're gonna send you to channel 1, as Josh just said, but on August 8th, there is a charity event in favor of the Black Lives Matters movement as well as the Pride movement that is being hosted by Fictional and Skylore. If you have any questions about that, you can contact them on Discord. And what that is, it's a day or evening. I'm not sure how like big the scope of this is, but it's going to be an event where you can participate with your team. It's going to be a for fun tournament where you pay a little entry fee, and that's going to be like the charity bit. But then it's going to be randomized teams, kind of like randomized heroes. The full write up on what's going to happen can be found in the Discord and the announcements, as well as there's a write up on the Heroes Launcher website. So if you wanna give some love for that, check out next weekend, I guess. That will be August 8th, so that's in a week. And
Also,
Karis has some extra
note,
info for you there.
if you would like to participate in Heroes Lounge, the signups are currently open for season 13 on EU. If you are playing in NA, unfortunately, they have started their seasons like 3 weeks ago or something. So you're gonna wait a little bit on this one. But for EU, heroeslaunch.gg, I believe the signups link is not that hard to find. But yeah, if you want like to join the conversation, you can definitely join the Discord of Heroes Launch. Unfortunately, I don't remember the link, but there is a lot of sloths always ready to discuss things, always ready to meme about stuff, and we are a good bunch.
Yeah,
So
I think so. A lot of good people here, and there's a lot of people behind the scenes who make this work. It's a breeze casting these games because of the moderators and admins who set everything up for us, for example. So thank you all for them, to them. This has been myself and Josh. We will be back tomorrow for the Mythic Championship. We're going to be casting one game in the lower brackets. So if you want to see some more of us, join up tomorrow at 1. But with that said, Josh, any final words?
I mean, if you don't want to see us, then why are you watching right now, right? But there is also going to be the mainstream tomorrow for all of the things. There is going to be the mainstream today for all of the things, which we are going to be rated shortly. And yeah, I don't know. I have one cast to go to 100 this season, and that one cast will be tomorrow. So I'm actually quite interested to see how this will go. And yeah, I don't have much to say. Good luck out there. Have fun. It is mandatory after all.
Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna raid you over to channel 1 here very shortly. So thanks for watching, and hope you have a good Saturday. Bye.